Today on CTV News at 5, the penny is out and extending the age of eligibility for old age security is in. The Conservatives released their federal budget. Plus, a group of Southern Alberta school boards are joining forces to save a program that connects students with job opportunities. And how a decision by Hockey Calgary will affect the sport in Lethbridge.
CTV News with Kayla Carr.
Good afternoon. Finance Minister Jim Flaherty unveiled the federal budget this afternoon. With no fear of the opposition bringing down this majority government, Flaherty announced they will trim $5 billion in annual federal spending, scrap the penny, and raise the eligibility of old age security to 67. CTV's Richard Madden has all the details.
It's the first budget under the Conservative majority, but it isn't the slash and burn approach critics long suggested. Jim Flaherty says it's about jobs and economic growth.
This is the largest budget we have done. It is looking at the longer term.
Jobs by fast-tracking oil and mining projects that soon only need one environmental review.
The One Project, One Review plan applies to all major projects, including the Northern Gateway.
There are no new taxes, but two of Canada's largest social programs will be changing. Those receiving employment insurance will be encouraged to move away from high jobless areas. Bottom line, if you work less, you'll earn less. And as expected, the eligibility age for old age security will be raised to 67 from 65. The gradual phase-in affects those born after 1958.
Canada has changed. Old age security must change with it to serve the purpose it was intended to serve.
Ottawa will save $5 billion by trimming the size of government. Department spending will be reduced on average 7%, and 19,000 civil service jobs will be eliminated in the next 3 years.
Relative to what we're seeing in other countries, this isn't an axe, it's more of a paring knife.
Ottawa is also getting rid of the penny. The Mint will stop making the coins this fall to save $11 million.
Free your pennies from their prisons at home and those jars they're in and give them to charity.
And if you're cross-border shopping, some good news. Duty-free limits will go way up in June to match the level of American shoppers. The Tories say budget priorities have now shifted from stimulus spending to incentives to help spur the private sector.
Really what they're saying is, the government provided support to the economy when it needed it. Now the economy needs to stand on its own 2 feet. It's the private sector's turn to lead growth.
And that includes a one-year $205 million hiring credit for small business, $50 million over 2 years for youth employment strategies. Now, according to the budget, the national debt stands at just over $600 billion. But the Tories say they plan to slay the deficit by 2015, just in time for the next federal election. Richard Madden, CTV News, Ottawa.
And McLeod MP Ted Menzies has worked closely with the finance minister throughout the budget process. Menzies is the Minister of State for Finance and has had a significant role to play in developing the action plan. We spoke to him a few moments ago from his office in Ottawa. He was part of a committee that reviewed spending in all government departments.
We spend a lot of hours doing that in that particular committee. And then from there, I work hand in hand with Minister Flaherty in drafting the budget and making sure that it is exactly what we're hearing when we're talking to people out there, what we need to do to support job growth, support economic growth, and as you'll see in the theme of this budget, long-term prosperity for all of Canada.
And Lethbridge MP Jim Hillier says changes to the immigration system should benefit new immigrants and their families. We spoke to Hillier by telephone from his office in Ottawa this afternoon.
The fact of the matter is the changes that are being introduced and have been introduced to immigration mostly is going to speed things up. Right now, waiting lists are up to 5 years long, and just by hitting the reset button, most people are going to be able to get their immigration applications processed faster.
Hillier says immigration issues account for thousands of complaints and a lot of work that's done at local MP offices. A Lethbridge political scientist says the Conservatives are digging themselves out of a hole that was created by several years of leading a minority government. University of Lethbridge professor Dr. Peter McCormick says Conservative governments preach balanced budgets and running a tight ship, but were forced to spend money to offset the economic downturn and make deals with the opposition parties. But a year into winning a majority, the government is moving ahead with its own agenda.
The first budget after an election, you do all the dirty stuff, all the hard stuff, all the unpopular stuff. And then number one, you give time for the medicine to work. And number two, you give time for people to forget, especially if you do nice stuff closer to the election that overwhelms these rather sad, grim memories. So the basic rule out of the gate is get the tough stuff done first.
And Dory is here now with a first look at weather. Dory, not surprisingly, a little bit of wind in the forecast.
Yeah, Kayla, there's a huge system on the BC coast that is continuing to funnel moisture into southern BC and the higher elevations, getting that snow-rain combination. And on this side of the Continental Divide, picking up the winds. That's going to be the format for the rest of today, into tonight and tomorrow. But stay tuned. I'll tell you when the wind is going to get shut down and the clouds are going to move in.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dory. Well, according to a recent survey, the Lethbridge Regional Police Service is doing a good job keeping the community safe. The LRPS released the results of their 2012 community survey today. 70% of city residents feel they're doing a good job policing the community. 60% feel very safe in their neighborhoods. Nearly 70% believe the LRPS is doing well, meeting its expectations. And about 90% of Lethbridge residents feel officers are polite and respectful.
Certainly for us, it's a vote of confidence. We're very pleased to see that we're meeting people's needs, and it's understandable that the community has expectations of us, and I think it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be.
The survey was conducted in February. About 800 Lethbridge and Coaldale residents were polled. Well, 5 Southern Alberta school boards are joining forces to secure provincial funding for a program that connects students with job opportunities. Alicia Fieldberg met with a student who says the future of the Career Transitions program is important to her future.
17-year-old Kellyanne Bruised-Head says the Career Transitions program helped her find her calling and the path to get the job of her dreams.
I want to be a police officer when I grow up, and student at the college for a day really helped me see what courses I want to take, what I need to experience more into high school to get into college.
Career Transitions is an amazing resource to have just because they are educated in what our kids can access in terms of post-secondary, scholarships, career choices.
Each year, it gives more than 9,000 Southern Alberta high school students the chance to explore further education and job opportunities. 60% of the program's funding used to come from a provincial grant. When the grant was eliminated last year, program directors were forced to cut staff and use reserve funds. School board representatives say without additional funding, the program will end with this school year. Councillors say that would be a great loss for students, especially those who might consider a trade.
Career Transitions fills in a big gap for us. There's lots of students who aren't sure if they want to go to university. They're not sure what careers are out there. The hands-on experience provides that middle piece for us.
School boards have joined forces to save the program and are hoping provincial ministers may get the same idea. School board representatives have contacted members of the Education, Advanced Education and Human Services ministries in hopes of securing a total of $250,000.
We believe that in each of those 3 ministries, their mandate is to provide the services we are. If we have something that's clearly working and it's clearly a collaborative project with all the partners that anyone could ask about, that, rather than trying to reinvent something, we have it here already.
11th grader Kellyanne hopes the province steps up so she can continue career transitions in her graduating year.
It's just really impacted my life a lot. I never used to be this much into school.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Career Transition started in Southern Alberta in 1998. Some of the opportunities funded by the program include job shadowing, summer employment placement, and Regional Skills Canada competitions. Well, city food banks are asking for your help with an upcoming fundraiser. Starting in June, the Lethbridge and Interfaith Food Banks will be launching an annual citywide food drive called Target Hunger. Volunteers will be dropping off yellow bags at every house in the city. They're asking you to fill it with a pound of food for everyone who lives in your home. Tonight, the food banks are holding a meeting for those interested in helping out.
We are getting together to plan the citywide food drive called Target Hunger that we do annually every year on the second Saturday in June. We're encouraging everyone that is interested in participating or planning the event to come down so we can gather up our ideas and make sure that this year's event is successful as ever.
And the meeting is being held tonight at 7 o'clock at the Interfaith Food Bank. This year, the food bank is hoping to collect 100,000 pounds of food. Right now, let's take a look at today's markets.